Hey friends, you're listening to Why This, a podcast where a couple of food scientists learn why people love the things they love. Today's topic, holiday movies. Welcome to Why This, as always brought to you by DraughtLab. DraughtLab helps food and beverage producers improve the taste and quality of their products with best-in-class sensory software, tools, and training. Visit DraughtLab.com to learn more or reach out to us on social media if you're interested in becoming a better taster. So it's December, and it's that time of year where it's holiday movie time. What I read earlier is there are about 40 of these made every year. So I've never seen the same one twice. So they always keep me a little bit interested, but I can also just fall asleep while watching them. Additionally, they're just kind of designed to bring you joy, which is kind of nice when you're on the road. So I'm a fan of these holiday movies. Matt, what do you think?
It's not usually my cup of tea, but they're on in the house all the time, so I know them, and I guess I appreciate them for that. But to us, it seems just like an opportunity, sensory people. Obviously, there's 40 of these made a year. They're made year over year. I think it's pretty safe to say there's a formula to these things that obviously somebody's paying attention to. So we thought to ourselves, why not bring back Brooke, who we had a really great time having her go through, try a bunch of different things. And what if we made her, as a sensory expert, try to break down
Why are they so successful? What is the formula? And Brooke is going to hopefully answer this for us. So Brooke, thanks for being back here again. I'm excited to have this conversation.
Of course, I'm excited to be here again. Thank you.
All right, Brooke. So what's your relationship with holiday movies? Have you been a fan for a while?
Oh yeah, holiday movies, they get me through the winter months in Maine. Let's put it that way. They bring a little sunshine to the dark nights, the 4 p.m. sunsets, things like that. They are just lighthearted and fun to watch.
So are they sunny because they're not actually filmed in locations that are winter, and it's probably somewhere in California?
It's probably safe to say they're not filmed in northern Maine. So in the middle of winter.
So you watched a couple of these, and at the end, did your perspective about holiday movies change at all, or are you still a fan?
Oh, I'm still a fan. It was interesting though, because I feel like when you watch these movies, you're not really fully paying attention the whole time. You're kind of, just getting the gist of the movie. And this time I was taking notes. I was really, really invested in this. So it was a different experience, but it was still great.
So the way that we kind of go through and do these things, Brooke, we give you a challenge or something to do. You then go out, give it a shot. We film parts of it, run through those to give us a quick idea, and then we'll ask you some questions. So let's go through the first movie.
Hi everybody, my name's Brooke, and I'm a sensory scientist at DraughtLab. Today, we're going to watch an excessive amount of Hallmark movies in one sitting. First things first, we have to make sure we have our snacks in line. Crackers with easy cheese, some chocolates, and some dried snap peas, because health is my passion. All right, it's time for Christmas in Rome. I have been taking notes because I am a scientist and a professional. There is a man. I have no idea what he does for work. That is never clear. He has a promotion on the line. He meets a beautiful woman, but then she becomes his tour guide. She's questioning how they're going to make the distance work. Classic slow dance moment. He got a job promotion. She no longer feels they can make it work. Not a lot of twists. Not surprised. I basically predicted this whole movie. I give this movie a 6 out of 10. All right, everyone. Next up, A Bride for Christmas. This movie is going to be rough. We're about an hour in. A lot's happened. I don't know. Barbara. Barbara off. What is happening? I don't remember where I left off last. I'm already falling asleep.
Job promotion. I think you summed them up perfectly. There's
Mhm.
always a female protagonist.
Yes.
It's usually big city to a small town.
Yep. Mhm.
They're changing careers. There's some kind of like life changes going on.
Yep. Yeah. It's all a little predictable for sure, but they change they always change like, the details a little bit.
So what are some of the core components? Start us off
Yeah.
with what we're looking at.
Yeah, so I think, there's always, like Lindsay said, some sort of big life change happening. Someone loses
Mhm.
their job, an engagement has ended.
Mhm.
They have to be away for the holidays, things like that. Something to really reel you in.
So I had a big realization because part of what you sent me was a group of like still photos
Oh,
of a
yeah.
bunch of the movies, which was funny. And I'm looking at them and I started to put them together and I came up with this photo, which by no means feels like a holiday movie, but it was like big light went off in my head. It's a big soap opera, right?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
it is just extremes. Like, you
Mhm.
Oh,
need to
yeah.
move from one opposite to another. Like, a guy could come in as a cold-blooded killer, and then he's gonna be Santa Claus, and then the person that was really great is and they're just
100%. Yeah, it's always the extremes because everything is so condensed. And like, I
Mm.
mentioned, like these movies, like the timeline of them is these things are happening over 3 days, like 2 days of these people knowing each other, and they make all these like big life decisions.
Yeah. And it's usually the same actors. So you watched three of these, right?
Yeah, I only watched 2 because I started to get sleepy. Um, but it is always, like, very similar actors. I did choose one from, like, 2021 and then one from 2013. So I kind of wanted to see if there was a big difference. There wasn't. So not much has changed in the 10 years of making these.
the actors that play in this, they're not like A plus. Like, I recognized one of them as being it was one of the girls from Mean Girls, right?
Yes,
Is like a big
yes. Gretchen
okay.
Mm.
Wieners from Mean Girls is in Christmas in Rome. Yeah, so it's mostly celebrities that maybe aren't really in the limelight much anymore, but, that's okay. They still know what they're doing.
But she's in many of them, right? Like, every year
I
she
think
has a different
so, yeah.
I wonder if they film them all like in the same month and just like knock them out, you know?
But what we did find out is Christmas in Rome was actually filmed in Rome. My husband and I were arguing
Oh.
about it. I was like, "This was not filmed in Rome. This was, like, filmed in California," and we looked it up, and it was actually filmed, like, on location.
What are the budgets of these movies? That kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, they bring in about $350 million in ad revenue every year.
Whoa.
So, yeah, if you notice, they're made for ads because 'cause they're made for TV. So there's at least 9 different ad segments. So, yeah, I mean, they're quite successful.
Yeah.
So you're doing the descriptive analysis version of these
Mhm.
movies. What's another characteristic of this?
Another characteristic is I think there's always some dramatic, like, very dramatic speech in the last 20 minutes. Like,
Mm.
something always goes wrong, it's always in the last 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden, everything is right, and everyone lives happily ever after
Oh,
because
wow.
of
So
the
you're saying about 85% is feel good, and
feel
then
good. Yep.
there's like 10% block where it's really bad, and then we
Yeah.
get back on track.
Yeah. You're like, "Oh, no, are they not gonna end up together?" But then they always do.
So most of it is meant for you to watch it as you pass by. You can kind of go
Mhm.
through these things, but to make it a legitimate movie and have a story, they got to grab your attention for just that little bit of time. And the big speech is that like record scratch moment to grab it.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like, what is about to go wrong? What is gonna get in the way of them being together? And then someone always makes a big life change to make sure that they can make it work.
Like major
Mhm.
life change. Like all of a
Major life
sudden,
change.
yeah, I've
Like, quitting your job and moving to Rome. Change
yes.
after knowing someone for 3 days. So,
Yes. I'm gonna get rid of all my friends and family. I'm gonna pack
yeah,
up all my stuff, get
yeah.
rid of everything, and I'm moving.
I'm curious about this speech. Did you find any factors in the speech that are played out consistently?
Yeah, it's always the male lead that does the very impassioned speech. They always have to like dramatically find each other somewhere.
You always have
Mm,
to kill the cell phone at some point because you have
mhm.
to be able to find each other in
Yeah.
Rome, but you
Yeah,
can't have a phone. And
and that's what
oh
happened.
shoot, I forgot to get his number. Like there's something that
Wait,
happens.
Lindsay, did you see this movie?
'Cause
No,
that's
it's always happens though. Like in the
exactly
modern
what
ones, it always
happened.
like you can't. Yeah, I just watched one the other day, and she was on a trip with her sister, and she met a guy in a cocoa line, in a hot cocoa line,
Coco Dreams, baby.
Cocoa Dreams,
Dreams.
and for some reason she didn't get his phone number. They like hit it off immediately, and her whole thing was like, oh, I believe in miracles, and so I'm going to find him again at some point. But there always has to be written into the script, how do you get rid of the phone, how do you get rid of Instagram or whatever.
No,
Like you can't have any of that.
no,
Yeah.
Lindsay, get this, Brooke. That
This is
happened.
exactly what happened in Christmas in Rome. She dropped her phone in a sink full of water, or he dropped his phone in a sink full of water, and he wasn't answering it. But in the beginning of the movie, she put a GPS tracker on his lapel because she is a tour guide and she always lost her she lost one of her tour people once. So now she puts a snowflake GPS tracker on them.
That's
And
illegal.
and when he was packing, he found it and he's like, oh, and he put it in his pocket, and that's how she found him. She's like, he still has his GPS tracker. And she found him in this big crowd of people in the middle of Rome.
Did she get their consent that she was tracking them?
Yeah, she like
Okay.
places it on them. He's like, what's this? And she's like, well, one time I lost one of my tour people, so now I track them.
I think the better movie would have been about the person she lost on tour.
Right? Fred is just aimlessly walking.
Yeah, I want to
He's
hang
like
out
now
with
yeah, he's like now a baker in Rome. He's like
Yeah.
wildly successful, all because he got lost on this tour.
All right, let me take a shot at this. The beginning is major catastrophe. Something happens big, right?
Yep.
That then leads into the characters have to meet because that happens in the first 30 minutes. And then there's awkward phase. And then there's happy phase. Then major downfall.
Yep.
Everyone's unhappy. And then big speech, finish.
Yes.
Did we do it?
Yep. Success. That nailed it. Yep.
It's fun.
It is fun. Yeah. There's not much more to it than that. That's okay.
All right. So what about the names of these movies? Where do you think is there a rhyme or reason to that?
I noticed that actually. I was looking at some of the titles before this, and Christmas is used quite a bit. I think it's like, SEO or something. So all I want for Christmas, an old fashioned Christmas. Hashtag Xmas was one of them.
Oh gosh.
Do you both want to play a quick game with me?
Absolutely.
So I just did a quick look, and I've got 3 Christmas movie names for you, and you've got to tell me, are these 3 names real or are they made up by AI?
Okay.
Wow.
All right. This is gonna be hard.
Okay. All right, you ready? Number 1, Snowflake Wishes. Number 2, Cocoa and Mistletoe Magic.
Oh my god. What?
All right. Number 3, Jingle Bell Dreams. Real or not real?
So one of them is real?
All of them are either real or not real.
I'm gonna say they're not real.
Yeah, they are not real. They were just made up
Okay.
by ChatGPT. But Cocoa and Mistletoe Magic.
That one is what I was like, no, that's not real.
Like,
Where does the mistletoe come in?
Their first kiss has to be under the mistletoe.
Obviously.
when does that happen does that happen during happy? Is that the end of happy time? Is the kiss?
No, the first kiss is always in the middle, after they've, had their witty banter and start to get to know each other more. In one of the movies, they were making Christmas bread together. That's when they shared their first kiss. They were kneading dough as one.
Was it a situation where like the hands came over the top and they were there kneading the dough together?
It was. Except she was the one behind him. So flipping the switch.
2023, I love it.
Yeah, right?
So progressive.
So progressive.
So
They
progressive.
finally flipped a ghost. Can we start a new product called Cocoa and Mistletoe Dreams? That sounds
Sure.
like it's probably a flavor of seltzer.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we could make a good product with cocoa and like a piney kind of
Pine.
flavor.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pine stout.
Yum, yummy. Oh, great. Well, this was fun, Brooke. I'm excited to get into watching more of these holiday movies, and hopefully everybody else is excited too. They're just so full of joy and so silly. So I'll definitely be watching.
I think I'm going to stick to just watching them in little pieces and from afar. I think that might be how these are best ingested.
Yeah. You mean you don't want to sit down and take notes on your phone for
No, I watched your
hours?
experience, and I don't I don't desire that.
Well, thank you for doing that work for us, Brooke.
You're welcome. Anytime. Anytime.
Why This is produced by the team at DraughtLab, where we help companies demystify consumer experiences through flavor analysis. To learn more, reach out through our website, and of course, like and subscribe. And happy holidays, everyone.